Okay, I'll call the Board of Commissioners meeting to order, please. Ask everybody to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this morning we are going to start the day off with a couple of public hearings. One of which we did not have to do because we participated in a postcard hearing, and that's our tax request hearing. But those are going to be the first two items of the day, and then we will once we're done with the public hearings, then we'll convene again as the Board of Commissioners and go through the normal Board of Commissioner meeting. So roll call, please.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Ott.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, the open meetings law is posted on the south side of our chambers. It is also in the hallway outside of our chambers and on our website. Proof of publication for these budget hearings was in the York News Times September 12th and also on the website. So at this point in time at 8:32, I'll open up the public hearing for the budget summary. Public notice is hereby given in compliance with provisions of state statute 13-501 to 13-513 that the governing body will meet September 17th, 2024 at 8:30, Commissioners Boardroom, for the purpose of hearing support, opposition, criticism, suggestions, observation of taxpayers relating to the following proposed budget. The budget details available in the office of the clerk. We also have 3 copies of the budget that is up here on the desk, and if you would like to review them, you are more than welcome to do so. So at this time, anybody from the public may come forward. And once again, we are talking about the budget. And we'll leave it open for a few minutes and see if anybody wants to or if anybody shows up. Somebody's rushing up. I will touch on it.
Whoa, I am. I'm
Well, that's
rushing
fine.
as much as I can.
All right, I'll touch on a few changes that we did see this year in the budget. Our cash reserve has grown. I would like to continually to see this cash reserve go up. We went up to $1.25 million. Cash reserve is a necessary evil for us because of collections that we get 3 times a year. And to be able to make it and make payroll every 2 weeks, payroll alone is about $240-some thousand, let alone all the vendor claims and stuff like that. So that is one of the changes that you will see in this year's budget. Go ahead, Willard.
Okay. A lot of this is general comments about the budget. If that's out of line, I'll wait and do it during public whatever comment. But no, your comment about the reserve, I'm going to take some credit for that because I told you last week or last time that I thought that's something you really need to think about. So I guess thank you for thinking of that or whatever. My other thought processes were I was watching, some of the cuts to some of the to some of the groups or whatever you want to call them, especially the things that have to do with law enforcement and with taking care of our kids and so forth. And even though a year or so ago you cut back on an awful lot of that, I do appreciate you trying to get a little bit of that back. It's still not, most of them I don't believe are still back to where they were before you cut them before. So hopefully you'll continue with that. So understand that there'll be more and more and more budget restraints. We know there will, but at the same time, life has to go on. And so anyway, that's my general comments for now.
Okay. On the reserve, you know, it would be my personal opinion that over the time of a couple years, maybe we could get that reserve up to a couple $1 million. Like I say, once again, it's just a matter of, well, especially if the inheritance tax continues to come under fire, which it will, to have that reserve there is gonna be a necessary evil. We was able to lower the levy this year. The levy in correlation with the valuation was lowered, so that was a good thing. The benefactor of the interest income was huge in the fact that we was being able to do that this year. Our interest income came in, and due to the treasurer's diligence to stagger some CDs and take advantage of some really good interest out there in the CD market and go to a bidding process on the CD part of things through some education by a local gentleman, we was able to bring in somewhere just a little over 700,000 in interest income this year, which offset some of that. Our real growth this year was at 0.83%, so the real growth is not huge. It's just kind of consistent with what we have been in the past. You know, mainly the budget committee tried to keep everybody at the 3%. Even with that interest income, we was able to lower it, but as you can already notice, the interest is changing, and we're gonna see that change over the next year or two. That interest income's gonna go away, and then these 3% are gonna start compiling back on us. So the one thing that I tell you is, yes, we're gonna pass a budget today of 24-25, but it's really a long-term looking. You've got to look 2-3 years down the road at how these things are going to affect the property taxes. Daniel, do you have anything to add, sitting on the budget committee, that notable changes?
Right, you touched exactly on what I felt we needed to address, is the long-term effect. We've got, this year we saw the help of that interest income, but we know that isn't going to stay there forever, just based on what we are hearing from the Fed currently. And so, yeah, we have to continue to look down the road and see how that's going to affect us. So I think we're setting in a good place this year, and then as soon as we pass this, we start thinking about next year.
So would anybody else? Now's your opportunity to talk about the budget. And we have had it open almost 10 minutes. Okay, I will close out that portion of the budget hearing, and next up we need to, public notice is hereby given in compliance with the provisions of State Statute 77-1632 that the governing body of York County will meet September 17th at 8:30 at the Commissioner Boardroom, purpose of hearing support, opposition, criticism, suggestions, and observations of the taxpayers relating to setting the final tax request. So this is actually where we do start talking about the levy. You know, what I'm looking at here, and if anybody would love to have a copy of it, this is the public notice that was in the paper the 12th, and basically states last year's operating budget just over 31 million, 359,000 to this year's operating budget's 31,145,000. Last year's property tax asking was 8.6 million. This year it dropped 3% down to 8.3 million. Of course, our valuations was an increase of 7%, went from 3.7 billion to 3.9 billion, which gave us the lower tax levy of 0.20. And then also in there, it's the tax rate if these tax requests were at last year's value. So that's, you can always say, hey, we lowered the levy, but you got to take into account where the value is at. So these tax requests on last year's value would be 0.21 and compared to the 0.23 that it was. So there is an 11% tax rate drop. Which goes to say too that, you know, as we went through that very lengthy protest season that we had this year, most people will tell you that if our values go up, everything goes up too, and that's not necessarily the truth. If we keep our budgets under control, we can control that part of it also. So those are the notable changes in the tax request hearing. Once again, we have to have this hearing because we come in under the 2% margin they give us to avoid the postcard hearing. If we would have had to have a postcard hearing, we would not have had to have this tax request hearing. So you can thank the state statute for that one. So anybody at this point in time that would like to come forward and do that, they are more than welcome to. And I would open it up to the board too, if the board. And any comments? They sure can. Morning, Willard.
Hey. I'll do this twice now because I forgot to do it the first time and you didn't ask me to. Willard Peterson, 514 Road 13, York, Nebraska, but I'm a proud resident of Bradshaw. Willard Peterson, 514 Road 13, York, Nebraska, but I'm a proud resident of Bradshaw. Now I've made up for not stopping at the stop sign the first time. Okay. The other thing, the other comment I would make about this whole process is the fact that we seem to live in a world of statistics. My opinion of statistics is you can kind of make them look like or convince people that because this statistic looks like this and this, then it's better or it's worse. Now this is not talking about necessarily you group of people. I'm talking about all forms of government and everything else. But that's the general rule of, okay, you find this statistic and you look at this and you look at that, and the people that are higher up think they've found ways to make those statistics sound good. Like I said, this is not really directed at you guys because, you know, it is, but it isn't. And I don't buy any of that. It's just trying to make us feel better about spending money or not spending money. And as I said before, money has to be spent. That's how we work. And life goes on no matter what the statistics are, no matter who's paying property taxes, or whether that's a big talking point, or whether some other year it'll be some other form of taxes or blah, blah, blah. But it's taxes, it's, you know, the word taxes has a real negative effect. But when the rubber meets the road, money has to be spent. So I understand why you talked about the statistics you did, and I don't have a problem with that, but hopefully more people can think of it not as statistics, but as real money meeting the road, and is that where our money's going and what we're supposed to be doing. Okay, that's all. That's
Thank you.
all for now. I'll be back up in the next section.
Sure.
Careful what, stepping off your soapbox.
Yeah, I get it. I think we need to realize how much hard work it takes to do the budget, because some of us didn't have a whole lot to do with it except for being asked by Randy and Daniel. And I'll guarantee you they worked more than 2 days a month to get this done. They met with the accountant lady that told us what we can and cannot do. We need to thank department heads that had to go back and refigure their budgets because we asked them to, because we thought maybe they were going a little too high out of how much more they wanted, and sometimes we gave a little. But it does take a lot of hard work to get that budget done, and thankfully I was not in charge or had to be here every time they met for it. Just got asked questions what I thought by different commissioners. So it takes a lot of work to get that budget done.
Thanks, Leroy.
Yeah.
I will ask one more time, anybody else from the public who would like to come forward? Seeing nobody get up and nobody else enter, at 8:46, we will close out the public hearings and we will adjourn. I believe I'm doing that right, as the Board of Commissioners. We need to allow so long, and so with nobody here, we will adjourn. And we will convene in our normal September 17th Board of Commissioner meeting. Roll call, please.
Groves,
Present?
Bowman,
Present.
Ott,
Here.
Sykes,
Present.
Obermeyer.
Here. Open meetings law is posted on the south side of our chambers. It is in the hallway outside of our chambers and also on the website. Proof of publication was in the News Times September 12th and also on our website. Review and approve the minutes of the September 3rd, 2024 Board of Commissioner meeting. Should have had those sent in there. I believe there was one correction. There was an error in a salary
That's correct.
number that
Correct.
got publicized, but will be corrected in the minutes, and it was for the VSO's office. The number's right, it just got publicized wrong in the minutes.
Correct.
Did I say that right?
Yes, I put the
We
old
got
wage
it
in and
corrected.
not the new wage.
Okay,
Move to accept minutes with the change being made.
thank you, thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Ott,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Groves.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes, adopt today's agenda.
Move to adopt.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Groves.
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes, officials forum. Have any? Got a couple? Morning, Harv.
Good morning to everyone. Don't have much to report other than we are basically, well, the road 22, that is all open and going now. We had a little wash on Road G that we fixed between 10 and 11. We are now working on the one between 11 and 12. So those will be fixed before winter, and the next time the water will have the opportunity to stay in the ditch instead of coming out on the road. So, other than that, we're hauling gravel, blading roads, and keep going forward. And we're having snowplow week this week. So the west half brought in all their snow equipment so that they could make sure that the plows were ready to change will fit. Next week, we will bring in the east half, and that's what we do every year anyhow, so just puttering forward.
Okay. Working forward on the possible paving projects, was you able to find out here yet where the line?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
got that all under control.
That's under control.
Perfect.
Talked to the city, I don't know what they're going to do.
Okay. We'll proceed with what we're gonna do. Hopefully you go. Okay? Anybody?
Is there any indication from the city as to the temperature on partnering with us on that project?
Well, he thought he had some money that they could do part of it, and hopefully they can. I just haven't touched back with him and seen for sure after he has talked to the council. Yeah, it would be nice, but we do have where we start and where we would woe on 25th Street. And they thought they had enough money to go back at least to the concrete that they had extended before. So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Any other questions, Harv? Thanks, sir.
you bet.
Any other officials this morning? Okay, seeing nobody else jump up, public comment. Anybody would like to come forward and comment? This is the time to do it.
Well, somebody got to do it, so I guess it's me. Willard Peterson, 514 Road 13, York, but I'm a proud resident of Bradshaw. Okay. Oh, first of all, I think I'll start doing a report on my meetings that I have with Harvey that I did this morning. And just in general, without getting too specific, he was not real clear. I'll be working on some math lessons to talk to him about what kind of words mean what in math. Oh, anyway. Okay, the other thing has to do with what you're going to do this morning, which is set the levies. I had a couple of people talk to me, or I was in on meetings where it was becoming kind of a concern with them, and that has to do with when certain entities, need to know what their levy is, okay? And because they have some paperwork and so forth, they have to get turned in at certain times. And in one instance, it was they had their paperwork turned in to you guys as far as what they needed for a levy, and was waiting. They're supposed to turn in the official designation of when you guys said that levy was okay, because you were the ones that okayed those. And they weren't getting it, and it was getting real close for the time for them to have it in. And it was a little bit with the other entity too. It is a fact. So, I don't know what the rules are, and I don't know if they knew for sure of when, but it seems like you guys have a tendency to push the envelope as far as you can, trying to stay ahead of when you're supposed to have it in, but like getting it in on the last day or whatever. And the way I was understanding it was that doesn't work with some of these entities, so they're going to have to put in what they are asking you to set, but you're not setting it till today, and therefore that could, screw up what they're doing. Now, I understand why sometimes you got to push the envelope, but it's not when you set levies for what you're supposed to set, the way I understand it, that's okay, but there's other people involved that you don't have your fingers directly in, but you have to approve it. And so just keep that in mind, that there's other people involved other than you, and they would like to know some, in a little more timely fashion. That seems only fair.
Thank you, Willard. Anybody else from the public this morning? Seeing nobody else get up, we'll continue down the agenda. There is no reason that I'm aware of it for an executive session, but as always, we hold that in reserve if we need it. There is no general assistance cases that I'm aware of. Next up, review and approve the payroll and vendor claims.
There's one claim on there in the data processing fund that I believe through the budget process we talked about using the LATCF fund again to cover computers and technology costs, hardware costs. So I think that claim of $1,329.88, we'd ask that be pulled out of the data processing and be funded under the LATCF fund.
Okay.
I believe that was a computer for our county attorney's office.
Anybody else have any other questions regarding the payroll and vendor claims?
I'd make a motion to approve payroll and vendor claims with said change.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Groves,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Odd,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, there is no funding transfers needed at this time. There was one that looked like it was low, and that was the emergency manager, but he got a check in. So it's fine. It just didn't reflect it on the fee sheet. So we should be good there. Discuss and act on crime commission grant for juvenile diversion. Tristan, I assume you want to come forward. Good morning, Tristan.
I have just a couple things. This little packet here.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Got information. Morning, Tristan Perry, diversion coordinator. So yeah, we have the opportunity to apply for additional grant money that the Crime Commission had from deobligated funds or just funds that weren't applied for. This little packet kind of just gives a rundown on that cover page of what we'd be looking at spending the funds or applying for. And so that'd be $10,000 to Blue Valley Health, $10,000 to Lemke Michaels psychotherapy, and then we'd be looking at somewhere around 30 for a part-time diversion officer. And so the main benefit to those, to partnering with Blue Valley and Lemke Michaels would be having diversion clients that are coming through, not having any obstacles when it comes to mental health, either therapy counseling sessions or substance abuse evaluations, that sort of things. And so if you dove into the agreements, it really kind of just states that if a diversion client is being seen for counseling services after their insurance pays for what they can pay for, anything above and beyond that, we'd be able to kind of cover and help make that not an obstacle or stressor on that family. So that is the main things for those. And then for the part-time diversion officer, again, it just kind of makes things more efficient, make sure that we have time to spend as much prevention and intervention materials and work hours to reduce recidivism with the people going through diversion. So.
Okay, so this would just be for, obviously, once again, as we've done in the past, we apply for the grants. The grants don't necessarily come in,
Right.
you know, the day we apply or even within, and there was some dating on here, January 1, 2025
Right.
to June 30th, 2025. Obviously, as we talked just a little bit, Tristan, without the budget authority to spend some money, if you are successful in receiving this grant, can that June 30th deadline be extended?
Yes, so with that federal grant that we applied for, which is, in my eyes, a little less likely that we might be able to get it, this, if we would be able to get it, would have that would kind of fill in for that space, and we'd have that expenditure.
The budget authority to spend?
Right.
Okay, but just not both. If
Right,
you were
just not
fortunate
both.
to get both, then you would not be able to
Right.
prior or after June 30th, then that would be a different
Yeah.
scenario.
And we'll know for sure with the federal grant by the end of September. And so if we don't hear anything, or we do hear something, if we hear something, good news. If we don't, we probably didn't get it. And so we can tell the Crime Commission either way
Okay.
if those funds won't be able to be spent by us, or if they will be, type of deal. So.
Okay. And then attached in this packet, it looks like there's an agreement between Blue Valley and York County Diversion, but we will not be acting on that necessarily right now. This is just the application
Right.
for the grant funds.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Any questions for Tristan this morning? Daniel?
Couple things. One, do you, if we apply for this additional grant, and we're successful in receiving it, do you view this as, what is the likelihood that then next year we would get these funds again?
That, I mean, it's hard to say, just because compared to last year, we are about the same amount, maybe a little less than what we got from Crime Commission last year, but it seems to be consistent. But I mean, with the state funding wise, it could be different, so it's definitely hard to say.
So, in here you have that you would be looking to, with this grant, hire a part-time diversion officer. As it's been stated multiple times with your whole department, you know, when that was created, it was based on the grants.
Right.
So should this not come again, what would you anticipate happening to that part-time diversion officer?
So when it would come budget time, I would probably propose to keep them on, and if that would be asking for some money from the general fund, or however, you know, that would work, or not grant funded money, that would be probably the plan, if we're not able to receive that from the current commissioners.
So then at that time, if this board didn't approve that and put that on the taxpayers, then that position would have to be eliminated.
Yep. Just have to communicate that with the person that would be jumping on, and these are competitive grants, so they will look at if the county has a plan to create sustainability within the program, and so we, you know, getting that part-time position would just open us up to receiving more grants and having that sustainability aspect. So.
And then I know I've beat this dead horse, but you know, it seems like your department continues to grow. There obviously is a juvenile problem in this county we need to take care of. You know, 6 months ago we asked about taking on Polk County, and it sounded like you were, you know, your department was running fine, and you thought you could take that on without having additional staff. So do you have an explanation as to how now, we haven't even taken Polk County on yet, and you know, now we're needing another part-time diversion officer.
Right, so back when we were talking about Polk County, I did express that me and Brennan will do everything within our power to deal with the caseload that comes from Polk County and is from York County at the same time, and we'll be able to cover it efficiently is when the question kind of comes into play. Work hours, the time spent with the youth is gonna just be more limited, and so making sure the program and the classes, if we're just giving a bunch of online classes out, is that the most efficient way to make sure they're not coming back on the caseload next year type of deal. And so we have started with Polk County already. July 1st is when we jumped into that, and so we started visiting with schools with truancy, and we do have a couple of referrals. Nothing that, again, me and Brennan can't handle at this time, but at the end of the school year, it's probably going to get pretty minimal on time being able to, or time spent with youth. So adding additional personnel will just, again, efficiency and making sure the youth are getting the resources that are needed. And our program growing in the last 2 years has been amazing, but it's getting up to be similar to like other counties our size have been probably personnel wise for the last 5-10 years. So
Tristan, I guess that leads me into a question too. You've been with us now, took over the position 2-3 years?
2.5 years.
2.5 years, okay. So you see the need for what we have here in York County, and now with the addition of Polk County. And I don't know that we've ever asked you this. We continually get, different, you're out searching for grants, which helps take it off the taxpayers' backs, and that's a fine thing. Where do you see this office? I mean, if we had all kinds of money and was willing to do this out of property taxes, where do you see this office? I mean, do you see a 4-member office? Do you see just one more part-time? or, I mean, what is your true vision for this juvenile diversion?
Yeah, for the juvenile diversion side of things, I mean, picture perfect, I think, with a truancy officer and a diversion officer, that'd be ideal for hours being spent on youth and coordinating the plans and getting them hooked up with other community resources, and then just coordinator position, and that would be kind of in my eyes, both county-wise, suffice for personnel.
So 3 full-time, basically.
If
Is what
picture
you're-
perfect world, I think that would be able to serve all the youth that we get, make sure we're not seeing them come back and repeat. So, gotta make sure those plans are as solid as can be. So,
And when we see this, the truancy, which is a school thing, we're in a partnership with the schools. Does the school bear any load in this, or is it just all supposed to be county's responsibility?
So loaded, just
Meaning, do they bear any share
Resources.
costs? Do they, equipment, room,
Right.
for an office or anything like that? Do the school systems that we're helping with the truancy, do they bear any responsibility in on this?
when it comes to like what they have to give in, what they are giving in, I guess I could tell you more. Whether they have to give in is a different story that I don't think is in statute. They have to give like a certain monetary value or anything, but what they do give us right now is access to the mental health counseling sessions and services that can serve the youth that get on the truancy program. They did have the office at York High School for Brennan. Now with the SRO, we're not in there anymore, but they still, each school, when we do have Brennan or I go, they have office space and we use some of their printing materials and that sort of thing. So they do have those resources as well. So, and right now Brennan does have a laptop that is from York High School.
From your public?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yep.
Any other questions for Tristan? Okay, this is a discuss and act, so once again, we're asking to apply for the grant, and that's as far as the discuss and act currently goes.
Make a motion to approve the grant application process.
Thank you,
Second.
thank you. Any other discussion?
I just would reiterate that this is, like you said, applying for the grant. If you were successful in getting the federal grant and you're successful in getting this grant, the budget authority is not there to spend this grant.
Right.
And so, if we don't get the federal one, which we've budgeted for, then that would open up some authority to utilize this grant. But should we get fully funded on both, this, what we're hoping to be $50,471, we would not have authority to spend. And so we would not be able to move forward with any of this programming until the next budget year.
Right, yep, and that would be communicated with the crime commission as soon as possible, probably before they would get awards out, so they can make sure they award the other, get funds to the other counties that would be applying for it, so.
And this will have to come back in front of us again anyway, once to get signature on and all that, to get approval of it.
Right.
I think we need to point out the most important thing he's talked about was the time spent with the youth, because the time is the important thing. Just seeing them and saying, I saw you.
Right,
not
sure.
hold water with kids. If you show that you're spending time trying to help them, then that will help your lovely word recidivism. Anyways, but it's the time, and that costs money.
Right.
Okay, we do have a motion in a second.
Bowman,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Groats.
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes, thank you, Tristan. Okay, next up, discuss and act on appointing John Prussia to the York County Aging Services Board for a 2-year term. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning. Lori Byers, York County Aging Services. And York County Aging Services has our own board that we have membership throughout the community. Right now, I've been going around to various village office board meetings, trying to get some of our vacancies filled. And John Prussia, who is the city police chief, or the police chief in Henderson, has graciously accepted to be on our board. And so we've met with our board, and our board would like to propose that he be appointed by this board to be on our board. And we're just very excited to have membership for Henderson. We feel it's very important to have people in the community have membership on our board to look out for the needs of their community. So we're excited to have this vacancy filled
Okay, so the term would run from September 2024.
to August of 2026.
Perfect. Any questions for Lori this morning? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Gross seconded.
Sure.
Yeah, they
That'll
kind of
work.
both did. Flip a number. Roll call when you have time.
Sykes.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Todd.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, next up is discuss and act on appraisal contract with Vanguard Appraisals Incorporated. Good morning, Kurt.
Morning. Kurt Bolger, York County Assessor. Have an agreement with Vanguard, who is our camera system operator. They have appraisers on staff that are able to assist us with commercial appraisals as well. This specifically is more geared towards the permit work, so any commercial building permits that have been filed recently, we check those towards the end of the year to make just to kind of see where they're at, how far they've come, or if we should close them and then put them on the tax rolls is ready to go. So that's what this is. And then once this is approved by you guys, then I'll send this over to the property tax administrator for their approval. So.
Okay, and this, it looked like there was just a hourly fee,
Right.
two fees in there, one for, I think, the work and then, like office work, there was two separate fees.
Right, at $195 per hour for compensation to the company of these services shall be at the rate of $195 per hour, including field work and driving time. All clerical work shall be billed at the rate of $80 per hour.
Okay. And the York County Attorney's Office did look at this, the way
They
it
did.
looked at also.
Like it was a typical agreement. So
Okay. Any questions this morning, gentlemen?
I think it just needs to be approved. I don't think the chairman needs to sign it. I think I just sign it.
Just
but-
you sign
Yeah.
it? Is it, what, was that budgeted out of your,
I did that one out of the sinking reappraisal.
okay. Questions? Okay,
Move to approve?
thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Todd.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Kurt. Okay, next up, we have discuss and act on a one-day liquor license for Wessel Living History Farm for Boo on the Farm event. I believe this is a second or third year, possibly, second year, third year.
At least
it's been
second. Might be third.
going on, so I do not see anybody from the Boo
Mhm.
here.
David Batty, he was gonna be gone.
For this meeting.
Mhm.
Okay. I think we've approved it in the past. To my knowledge, there's been nothing that has gone array out there during this event, so.
We do about 3 of these a year.
Special events?
Yeah. At
Yeah.
least 2, because they always have the POCA that we do liquor license for. Move to approve?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman.
Yes.
Todd.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, we will get that signed and back to them. Next up, we do need to amend the resolution 24-27 to correct an hourly wage that was inadvertently put in there wrong of one of the employees from the roads department that we had set. The wage was set right. The number was written in wrong, so we need to amend the resolution 24-27 to the correct hourly wage.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Gross.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Todd.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes, and next up, we discuss and act on an interlocal agreement between Region 5 Systems and APACE, and you should have those in front of you. And as you remember, they were here during the budget process. And I believe it was the APACE that went down to 0,
Yes.
which is kind of a nice budget request on our
Yeah.
report, yeah, but. And this was also looked at, I believe, right?
Yep.
Chris took off, this was looked
Chris
at.
did look at it.
Comments?
Move to approve the interlocal agreement between Region 5 Systems and APACE.
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman.
Yes.
Todd.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay. Now, up to the highlight. Discuss and act on resolution for adoption of the appropriations budget for the 2024-2025 budget year. We do have a copy of that here that will be stating that the general fund is $7,176,414. Our debt service, which is our bonded indebtedness, is $805,000, and then of course our ambulance service, which is $353,298, which gives us the property tax levy of .209889 per $100 of assessed value. Once again, the budget for us is kind of a long process, but when you look at that number, that $31 million operating number, it probably needs to be, you know, and you know, there is a lot of time spent in on it, but with the help of Jill from Regier Carr and Monroe, and you know, the switching of the clerk's office, there was a few fumbles this year, but nothing we didn't overcome. We have a few questions for the MIPS people that help with the new system, as why things are what they are. But I think that as far as for services, we shouldn't interrupt any services that everybody are used to. And with the increase in value, and once again that interest earned money, we're able to cut the levy just a little bit. So, any other comments from the board?
The one comment that I'd make, we talked about the juvenile grant, fairly significant federal grant that's been applied for. There's also one that's been applied for the adult diversion. And so those, hopefully we'll get those and those expenditures can move forward, but those are grant funded expenditures. Should those grants not come in, then those programs would not expand. I would make a motion that we adopt the resolution for the 2024-2025 budget.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Roll call, please, Mary.
Gross.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Todd.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes, and then next up, to discuss and act on resolution setting the property tax request. And once again, that is the $7 million. It's 8.1 million all told.
We passed a budget, we probably need the money.
Yeah,
I'd adopt the
kinda, sorta.
motion to adopt a resolution setting the property tax request.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Brooks,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay, has everybody seen the fee report sheet was in there? Next up, basically, is committee reports, and then we are off till 11 o'clock. Anybody wanna go? Anybody at all?
I don't really have a report, but, is there any update on from building and grounds as to where we're at with,
They are here today.
they are here today?
Yep.
Excellent.
I haven't seen a text come in, but he contacted me at 8 when he was leaving Lincoln, and him and Brian are supposed to be not only there, but if they can think of any place else that he can utilize it throughout it, so they are here today. Dry Hero, I'm sorry, is the name of the company.
I did go to Region 5, a PACE meeting in Lincoln, and spent the day last Monday. And Region 5 was located downtown in Lincoln and was paying $30,000 a month lease.
Okay.
And they bought the old PACE building, which a cell fell through for them. And it basically is very fortunate that the person who was gonna buy the building did not, because they moved there, they're going to move there. Region 5 is gonna move to that building that a PACE had, because a PACE has bought a new building, and basically their lease is, they have other parts of the building leased out to other people that are paying a big portion of what the lease is on that building, which was very smart of them. There's two very intelligent, good men in charge of those two programs. And so they are going to take over their place in October, because what's happening in Lincoln is the lease amounts keep going up every year because that property is so valuable. People will knock down a building, put a new building up. And he was even afraid they were gonna put a building in between two buildings where their parking was. So they went from 30,000, I know, don't follow, to 14,000 a month. And then, yeah, little difference in buying a building in that. So saving money, and the only thing I told them was I thought a PACE should be charging Region 5 more because he's getting off pretty easy. So, also, it's Region 5's 50th anniversary for being in service to people in Nebraska. So that was a big deal. And the silliest thing that happened at that meeting that I thought was just ludicrous, but we don't teach cursive anymore in school either. They had to change their V to the number 5 because people thought it was Region V. That tells you anything. So anyways, but I would say every commission, there was all but 2 commissioners there. Usually at the meetings there's 16 different counties represented, and usually 14 out of the 16, that's a pretty safe number show up. So they always have a quorum, so that's good, they can get business done. But yeah, they're working very hard at what they do.
Anything, Jack? Okay, Daniel?
Like CDC exec board met last week. It was a very good discussion. There's some good things moving forward. So hopefully we'll see some of that progress in physical form soon. And yeah, that's about what I have to put out there today.
Okay. Four Corners Board, we did meet last Thursday evening at the hospital. Currently we're meeting in the hospital because of the construction at Four Corners building. Construction due to some termite issues and some other things in an older building is delayed. We're hoped to, phase 1 is hoped to be done by the end of this year. It was supposed to be getting finished right about now, so that has been a little bit of a frustration for the board and for the people that work at Four Corners. We did pass the budget the other night, and got that going. So, and then we also have in our budget this year, a CDBG fund has got $355,000 that goes towards that construction, and we're going to do that in the manner of hopefully just one larger lump sum, whereas these others from San, as we approved last meeting, have been 40, 50,000. We're going to try to contain those into one lump sum. So that was going on. We will be asking the insurance committee to get together in the first part of October. Our current carrier is Medica, and our first rate increase came back in, and somewhat shocking. It's a little over 20%, 24% actually is what they were asking for. So that's not set in stone yet. That was just their early number. So we had kind of a bad year as far as that is concerned. So the committee will be getting together, probably be asking the committee to expand just a little bit. That way we have more people. It seemed like through the conversations we had with employees, there was just a lot of concern about the cost of healthcare. So maybe get more people in the know will be better on that one. Handbook committee is going to get going now again. We had kind of dropped it as in May. Got a lot of the changes that are put in there, but now that the budget is done, we're going to try to get the handbook committee up and get that finished also. I assume everybody I got two of these, one at home, one here, but the state of Nebraska has got the next meeting for expansion of Highway 81 at Cross County Public Schools. We had one here months ago that was out at the Holta Center, and I'm not sure if there's any different information. What is the date on that?
October 1st.
Is the date of the meeting. So it's our next board meeting. It's the evening of that meeting. So if anybody wants to go up and visit with them, they sure can. We have this week, we have our Central District meeting is Thursday in 2 days in Aurora. Open registration is closed, but if anybody that did not get registered still wants to go, we can go that day. I believe it starts around 8 or 8:30, somewhere in there. We just have to register, and then they'll bill us for that. That is in Aurora. As everybody remembers, in the spring, we were the last, so it rolls back around and goes to the top of the alphabet. So I assume Adams County is holding it. And then just more state meetings. The legislative meeting for NACO is in October, and that is in the new building, and there'll be a groundbreaking ceremony at that time too. Also in October out at Ogallala is where that's going to take place. I believe it's on a Friday. We can get those dates if anybody is interested in going out for that. And NERMA's annual conference will also be in October, and both of those should have some pretty interesting discussion. NERMA being our property and casualty insurer, and then the legislative meeting will talk about our legislative agenda for next year, which ought to be interesting in itself. So those are two things that if anybody's interested in going, if you do not have those dates, get a hold of me and I will get those dates for you. Mary, do you have anything this morning?
No, I'm good.
Nothing at all? Settling in? Everything's just fine?
Everything's just fine.
Fine. Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else, once again, have anything else that they thought of? Okay, at this particular time, then we will adjourn, and I believe the next meeting is posted for 11 o'clock for Board of Equalization. So we have a little bit of a break, but because of the budget hearing, we needed to keep that much of a gap in there. So we are adjourned.